discuss the panel moving forward. This is about building dreams, South India's housing boom. I'll repeat the topic for this panel discussion. This is about building dreams, South India's housing boom. It's a very, very important panel. I'll request everybody to please remain seated. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be first calling upon stage our respected moderator for the session. He has over 20 years of experience and has been driving P&L, multi-city operations and strategic growth across South India. He currently leads residential and alternatives for Bengaluru, Chennai and Coimbatore at JLL. He has held similar leadership roles at CBRE and Blue Dart previously, and his leadership expertise is backed by national as well as Asia level performance awards. Very, very deserving indeed. Please give it up for Sreenivasa Rajeev, sir. Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you, sir. I'll request you to take the seat of the moderator. Please update the slide at the back. Yeah, so yours is right over there at the corner. Thank you. I'm now going to be introducing our speakers in alphabetical order, requesting everybody to remain seated. It's a very important panel. My first speaker over here, under his leadership, Primus has set a new standard for senior living excellence with over 3,500 senior homes developed across 6 South Indian metros. In the year 2024, we got 2 of the most sought-after investors, General Catalyst and Nikhil Kamath, to invest in Primus. Beyond Primus, he's the managing partner of Rewild Retreats LLP and has also interests in warehousing, partnering with India's largest players and ventures in land banking, residential and office space development. Please give it up for Adarsh Narahari, please, everybody. Thank you so much, Adarsh. I hope I got the pronunciation right. My next speaker over here, ladies and gentlemen, brings over 15 years of diverse experience at Brigade. He plays a crucial role in liaising with government authorities and statutory bodies. He's also focused on driving the company's expansion plans in Hyderabad. He's actively involved in transformative IT initiatives aimed at improving business efficiency and has instrumental in securing renewable energy for Brigade's commercial, retail and hotel properties. Please give it up for Mr. Amar, Mysore. Amar Mysore ji ke liye zor se taali, please, everybody. Thank you so much. My next esteemed speaker over here has been in the real estate business for over 4 decades. That's a really, really, really long time. In Bangalore, he has been a linchpin in finalizing numerous deals for multinational corporations, companies, and high net worth individuals. He's the chairman and managing director of Silverline Realty and holds significant positions in international real estate organizations. Please give it up for Farook Mahmood. Give it up for him, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir. What a pleasure to have you. My pleasure, sir. My next speaker over here, ladies and gentlemen, has over 20 years of experience in real estate investments across the country and has managed more than $2 billion across 100 plus transactions spanning debt, mezzanine and equity. He also serves on the board of Giraffe, a fintech startup with sector agnostic investment approach. Please give it up for Mr. Navin Dhanuka over here. Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure. Swagat hai aapka. My next speaker over here has a prolific experience of more than 25 years and has successfully managed the sales and marketing of billion-dollar residential townships and is absolutely extremely high-skilled in negotiation, budgeting and market planning. Please give it up for Sujith, Sebastian, Group Chief Sales Officer, Mana Projects Private Limited. So, do we have you over here? Sujith, sir, yes. Thank you so much, sir. I request you to take your seat. And my next speaker over here, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the second generation of the promoter family, has been closely involved in shaping prestigious growth trajectory, contributing across sales, marketing, business development, finance, and investor relations. His influence goes beyond the organization. As the youngest president of BRAI, Bengaluru, he has been instrumental in advancing policy discussions that directly impact the real estate sector. Please give it up for Zayd, Noaman, Executive Director, Prestige Group. I hope I got the pronunciation right. Thank you. Pleasure. No, you don't need it. That's a good one, huh? Great one to start with. Alright, we'll quickly update the timer. Please set it to 45 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks ArisUnitern for organizing this event and what a fantastic panelist here. So, as a moderator, my work becomes much easier because all our experts here can throw a lot of insights on the real estate market. Today, we are going to talk about the boom that is happening in South India. So, on the real estate be a very important discussion as far as residential real estate is concerned. And the people here are going to give a lot of insights on the residential market, how South is being growing in terms of residential. So I've just divided this into three segments. One is going to be the demand drivers and market momentum. The second is going to be on the innovation and delivery design. The third is going to be on the investment and the future trends. So let's start the panel discussion. And my first question is, South India has consistently been outperformed most of the markets, and the housing demand has been pretty good. So what's driving this momentum? You feel it's going to be the end user aspiration, affordability, infrastructure growth, or the investor confidence? I throw open this to everyone, so probably each one can just throw their insights on this, and then we can move to the next one. Thank you.
Good evening, this is Sujith here. See, South India, when you're talking about the business boom, the real estate boom, I think we should also be considering what is the software industries in a growth has been in the last few years. So you can't actually be separating these two. It's always a mix of how the ITES industry has actually grown in South India, and the real estate has been actually just a direct proportion to that. And the same thing is actually being visible in all the South Indian markets. If you look at Bangalore's already grown, it's still growing with all the GCCs coming into Bangalore, with the number of new GCCs which has been signed up. The numbers have been growing up in terms of the new people coming into work for Bangalore. Likewise, Hyderabad is soon catching up. There's a lot of developments happening in Hyderabad. The ITES is actually growing up in Hyderabad as well. Likewise, even into the tier 2 cities. Let's say if we talk about a Coimbatore, Mr. Manikandan was here from ArisUnitern Developers. He was also talking about the growth in Coimbatore. Be it Kochi, again, an IT sector happening in Kochi, and that's actually fueling up a lot much into the demand for the real estate in all those specific places.
So I have a little different view on this. So see, we obviously say South India is overperforming, but that is in combination with West. And I think it is the more about, we had some pro-governments like in Andhra. However, Tamil, if you look at it, Hyderabad right now is little checkered. When we talk about the entire South, still it's more about Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, etc. I think it is now spreading out. A lot more can be done. I think Mysore, if you get the airport, it's at the brim. If you get that airport right in Mysore, it is going to just shoot up like anything, right? We have the education. I think the biggest factor what we miss even in IT is we have probably the maximum number of IT colleges and the educated class. The education percentile is very, very high. That is adding to it. Mostly peaceful people. Law and order issues are very, very less. That adds. Most of the people are happy to come down to South because they feel very comfortable, whether it is the guys or the females out there. That is adding to it. But I still think it is at the cusp where the real jump is still to happen. Right now we keep talking, if you, I'm from North, you go to most of the cities, they're talking Bangalore, little bit of Hyderabad. It has to go beyond, and there is huge potential. We have the water, we have the agriculture. I think we are now moving beyond IT. With Foxconn, if you look at it, Chennai is a very big manufacturing hub. Foxconn, we have close to, if I know, 4,000 to 5,000 employees right now. They have already declared by 2020, they want 30,000 employees in one Foxconn, what they are doing out here. That is really going to change things out there, right? We haven't seen, in line to Delhi, the Aero City around Bangalore is to grow. We have to still to see that to really happen. So I think we are now talking about, I heard DCM talking about Bidadi to be the next IT hub, but I think we have serious scope in Mangalore, Mysore, Cochin already had some IT parks, but we haven't seen beyond that it to go to a very different level. So those are the cities where with the infrastructure, if we don't improve on Bangalore, these are the cities which have all the right elements to grow. Hyderabad has extremely good infrastructure. So I think that is still, we are still at the cusp, and there is huge movement which is going to happen, primarily backed by the, what has IPL done to the Indian cricket team, that is the same IT issue, the education which has done to the IT, which is going to grow. And we obviously have the dangers of AI, which we can speak later.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's all about IT. Bangalore's growth is based on the IT story. Of late, there's been a push of GCCs. I think that's moving up the value chain. I think that's what is the difference. What was earlier more like a entry-level job, I think we've all grown up on the value chain aspect, at least Bangalore and India. So with that, the spending power, the income, everything has increased. So we're seeing that play out on premiumization of apartments, people's ability to pay a little more for amenities and getting that going. So I think that's played a huge role. Infrastructure developments in Bangalore, like the STRR, all that has opened up a lot of land pockets. The metro naturally is one of the driving factors. All in all, I think it's about the entire ecosystem that Bangalore has to offer. I think if I'm correct, there were some 70,000 units launched in Bangalore, and in that, 65,000 were sold. In that, not just the ones that were launched, but obviously the ones which are already launched prior, under construction. So I think it's a strong market. It should continue to grow, and with more and more issues like H-1B visas to the US, I think outsourcing will be more, and whether it's through GCCs or plain Jane outsourcing, I think that's only aids to the growth of Bangalore and Hyderabad. So those are my 2 cents.
Thank you.
I think Bangalore, from that perspective, is the leader in the south. If you take Chennai, you take Hyderabad, you take the other cities, apart from the climatic conditions which are good out here with very poor infrastructure that we all cribbing about day in and day out, this city shouldn't have been anywhere close to where we are right now, but it's still growing because I think it's one of the best cities in the country. It's got a talent pool here, it's got a cosmopolitan atmosphere here, and most important that I feel, I have colleagues sitting down here on my right and left who have been responsible for building this city to what it is today. They have created world-class facilities with top-notch infrastructure. I mean, if you really look at it, there's nothing that, if somebody is making a pool, somebody is making an indoor pool along with jogging tracks, etc., etc. So it's the buyer that at the end of the day benefits out of this whole thing, and they see a value proposition on the numbers that we're talking about. What are we talking on from a distance perspective? I think once the metro lines are through and our infrastructure projects completed, that I would say in the next 5-7 years, hopefully we'll still have to live with this misery of commuting. But at the end of the day, I would feel that there is potential in the city for growth, and that's why we're growing. You take all the Fortune 500 companies, they're looking at Bangalore, second option Hyderabad, though Hyderabad's got some big ticket size projects right now, infrastructure projects like Google and the port stuff with Adani and the others. I think close to about $1,200 billion has flowed into that city there. But I think Bangalore is not far behind from that perspective, that everybody wants to be in Bangalore and they want to function out of Bangalore, not apart from the climatic condition. It's there's something about this place, something unique about this place that blends, it makes people, whether it's from north, south, east, west, they feel very comfortable living here. So I would say that Bangalore's here to stay, and it's my all-time favorite, and I think it's going to continue with this growth pattern of, commercial, be it residential or retail, logistics, warehousing, etc. So I think Bangalore's here to stay.
Thank you.
So Sreenivasa, I'm going to restrict my answer to senior living, and let's see if I can get the audience out of their phones. Good evening, guys. And Tripti, you have given us the ghost hour, after 6:30. So, how many of you guys here live with your parents? 10-15%. In 10 years' time, how many of you think that you live with your parents? 1 hand, 2 hands, 5 hands, okay. So that's the answer to your question, right? Children have become financially independent. Elders always had money. The children are now encouraging their elders to live life fully, to also spend on themselves. That's what is driving demand for senior living. And as far as senior living is concerned, education level is directly proportional to my sale. So more educated the elder, quicker is my sale. And if you look at South India, we always placed a massive emphasis on education from a long, long time. So you'll find a lot of educated elders here who understand that the solution that senior living provides is one of lifestyle and health and community, not necessarily of real estate only. And that's why the demand is highest here. And if I want to throw, if you want me to throw some stats, India is about 60% nuclear today. Urban India is 76% nuclear. So nuclear families are here to stay, and disposable incomes have increased, and the women of the house no longer want to take care of the house. So these are the factors that are driving demand for senior living.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think am I audible? Yeah. So I think I'm the last, and it's easiest to conclude. But I think I'll bring things in perspective for you, because I think Srinivasa's question was more, what are the factors that drive, demand, and especially how is it affecting real estate in the south? So all I can tell you is, see, there are two of the major cities amongst the 5 or 6 metros, key metros in India, where most home buying is happening, right? And that's Hyderabad and Bangalore. They do about 50,000-60,000 units of sales every year. Yes, there is good absorption, because there's a good ecosystem in both these cities. You have education, you have industry, you have factors like livability, which is the weather and things like that. But I think that's key. We have the industry also over here, which Sujith was saying about the IT industry, which all ties in. But yes, so I think it's very investable. You have many projects. Kudos to most of the developers in the south for making a name for the real estate industry in the country. Developing really unique projects, well planned out, and delivering on time. So I think of the top 10 listed developers, I think 5 or 6 of them are from Bangalore. So I think, and the south, and they operate in the south. So I think that's key. One is, there's people you can trust who can deliver projects. Number 2, of course, you have the entire ecosystem that kind of encourages people to buy homes. And lastly, affordability. Excluding Mumbai, I think there is only Pune, you have Bangalore, Hyderabad, maybe Chennai and the NCR, where homes are still within reach. When I say within reach, in that kind of bracket of around 2 crore rupees. Gone are the days where you could get a 3-bedroom for 75 lakhs or 65 lakh rupees, right? Probably can get a 1200 square foot or 1800 square foot plot for close to 75 lakh rupees today. And that's a lot of money. So I think backed by good, stable incomes, most of these buyers are all first-time home buyers. Your average age of home buying has actually dropped from the mid-50s in the 90s to close to early 30s is the kind of profile of the home buyer right now. Liquidity is also available because most of them have stable incomes, and most of these jobs are in these key metros of Hyderabad and Bangalore, where the IT industry is. Chennai and I think Kochi have a lot of catch up to do. It's not really very economically feasible for developers also to do work. The margins are quite low, given that the capital values are also not that high. So there's a lot of pressure on margins over there. So people like us prefer to do work in Bangalore, Hyderabad. But yeah, I think we'll get to know later in the market why we do prefer Bangalore and Hyderabad versus the rest of the T2 cities. But I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So thanks everyone. Adding on to this next question, I think most of them have been highlighting about the trends and how the market has been moving, and preferably last 2 years the market has been seeing a big spike. I just want to probably this question can be to Amar and to Zayd, because both from premium developers like Brigade and Prestige can probably answer this question. How you see the next 2-3 years the market is going to be, because what it was in 2022, what we are seeing in 2025, there's been a big change in terms of the pricing and the number of launches, a lot of pan-India players coming into Bangalore. So how you see this market next 2-3 years, Bangalore especially?
No, honestly, the last 2-3 years, the 2-3 years that have passed, we've seen a run-up on the pricing. So I would think the next 2-3 years you will see some run up in pricing, but not as much. But the underlying factor is that it's very strong. It's a very robust market. The demand is robust. You have a lot of home buyers that want to live. It's not an investor or speculative kind of a market. People are buying to live, which is very different from markets like, say, I would say like Mumbai or Delhi, where people buy to speculate. I think the percentage of speculation is very low in Bangalore at least. There's a little bit in Hyderabad. But they're all end user homes. So we see that in the way the business is done, like in the sense they go in for home loans. Typically a speculator wouldn't go in for a home loan. They would have their funds ready to invest. They would say, I'll give you a down payment, a larger down payment, won't give a discount. And that's how they look at it. But we see a trend that they all go in for home loans. That is ones that they are actually going to buy to live. So that's a big plus for Bangalore. I would see this trend growing, and things like infrastructure upgrades like metro reach increasing, that will actually open up a lot of lands that were actually a little away from the city, a little bit of an issue in terms of commute, what Farook was mentioning. Those will actually ease out. So we'll see more and more developments. And look, people are looking to invest in homes that actually have that larger space and premium offerings in terms of amenities and all that. And I think the IT exports is about $330 billion out of India, and that's only going to grow. So with that, the spending power, the earning power, everything is going to increase. So I think we're here.
Thank you, Amar.
See, I have to say we're all quite biased on this panel because we're all believers, right? If we weren't believing in it and we didn't have that conviction, we wouldn't go and invest these monies and buy these lands and develop. But I think fundamentally, I think as Amar pointed out, the fundamentals are very strong, right? You have a huge amount of young population, educated, getting into jobs, stable incomes, first-time home buyers, who really believe in buying a home, right? They don't believe that they can get away with renting. As Adarsh said, many will kind of in their formative years save that equity contribution that goes into their home by living with their parents, right? And then that's what happens reverse later, which benefits him. But we will see this trend continuing. A lot of people ask, where are you in the cycle? Other cycles with me, that's a different story. But I think India is growing at a very rapid pace. Our economy is growing at a very rapid pace. Not anybody can experience what we're experiencing, close to 6-7% growth each year on year, whether the government does anything or not. If the government does something great, we'll go above 7%. Otherwise, we'll be between that 5.5 to 6.5%, is what I believe. Yeah, the way cities like Hyderabad, Bangalore have all grown. If certain initiatives are taken by each state government to better the cities, build satellite cities, how they've done in MMR, NCR, to actually improve that connectivity, do good urban planning, make it easier to get from point A to point B, like for example they've done in Hyderabad, it could be a huge stimulus. But I think the main thing is people are not thinking of real estate like they did 5 years ago, where, should I buy, shouldn't I buy, will it go up, won't it go up? It's more, I need a home. It's good to have that roof over my head, build that security and whatever, take a 20, 30 year 10-year loan. It's priced pretty affordably. And I think that's what's driving it, the liquidity as well. So I think the best is yet to come. That's what I firmly believe in. But as long as the caveat is the prices don't go up too high. If you see a sharp price rise over the next 12, 18 months, obviously demand is going to, people are going to wait and watch to see if it's going to go up further or not, and whether it's really within reach. So I think that's the only caveat, but otherwise I think things are good.
Fantastic.
Rajeev,
Yeah,
I want to actually just add one point to it. I slightly differ in terms of one of the viewpoints expressed, saying that it is mostly end users. What I feel is actually a lot of investors also, maybe we're talking about the retail investors investing into Bangalore, and that's also like, one of the major factors of the numbers in Bangalore, which probably might be differing in a South Indian state like Chennai or a Kochi or a Coimbatore, but Bangalore and Hyderabad, the number of investors, the retail investors that we talk about are quite high. And I don't think the mortgages, the number of people who opt for the mortgages might not be a parameter for that. Because right now, the retail investors leverage on the mortgage options and then they go for the properties. And obviously, it's not a big number in terms of a higher percentage. But again, depending on the micro markets, it could be varying from anywhere from 10 goes upwards to around 20 plus. So that's the numbers that, it's purely micro market specific. But it's, Bangalore is again, like, I would say a good percentage of investor market, maybe lesser than an NCR market, but that's where we are heading, is what I feel.
thanks, Sujith. I think overall a very positive move for next 2-3 years because everybody is on that same page. Going to the next question, I think Adarsh already started off with this Primus and about the senior living. So just to probably you can emphasize how the senior living probably has evolved post-COVID and what buyers expect in these communities.
So the first thing is that, guys, senior living is not real estate. While the physical home plays a critical role, the solution that people seek is one where they can live longer on their own terms. How many of you here know what a blue zone is? Or have read the book Ikigai? Okay. So there are these 6 places around the world, like Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Loma Linda in California, so on and so forth, where the people who live in these villages, they all live above 100, and most importantly, they live independently. Like they are not on a wheelchair or they're not dependent on anybody. So a scholar went and stayed in all of these blue zones, and that's the book, the blue book called Ikigai, where he identified 4 common traits between people of different food habits, different cultural habits, different genetic pools. But one common thing, they all live greater than 100. And what he identified is that the people in these places, they're all physically active, they're all mentally engaged, they don't retire, so they have something to do, they have a strong purpose. And he said they have friends and family around them, so they live in a community. So senior living, and at Primus what we essentially do is we give these as part of everyday living. We create a community where people are physically active, they're mentally engaged, they're socially stimulated, and we rekindle purpose or ensure their bucket list is met. And we throw in preventive health and right nutrition on top of this. Because when it comes to health, we can't wait for things to go wrong. We run a very detailed preventive health plan where we're able to find underlying conditions before they become a health risk. Most of us wait for an event to occur and then we go to a doctor, and after that it's all treating the symptom, it's never about curing the disease, right? So broadly, this is the solution of senior living. So it's a place where you slow down aging and where we increase health span. And the house plays a secondary role, the community and the services play the primary role.
Fantastic. So going to the next segment, which is going to be innovation, delivery and design. I think a lot of it is now being done in Bangalore because of a lot of high-rise projects coming up, a lot of communities coming up in major locations. So the next question is to Amar, where Brigade has always been into integrating ESG goals, smart technology. How do you see the tech and sustainability shaping up the next decade of housing in South India? Because you've been pretty aggressive in Chennai, you've been in Bangalore and Hyderabad. So how you feel that this is going to make a big difference?
Yeah, so in terms of the net zero goal which India has set out, it's about 2070. And I think developers as us, Adarsh, Prestige and so many of us here, we have set, the CREDA has set a net zero goal of 2050. And then we in Brigade said, let's try and shorten that and let's look at it in 2045. So what I mean by ESG is like we want to be a little bit more environmentally sustainable. So we've taken steps towards that. We've launched the first project which is called Brigade Citrine. We've done it to be a net zero, not just on energy but on water and various other factors, even the embodied carbon. So we have done this particular project on Old Madras Road, and the idea is to bring in, we just have one planet, Earth, so we just have to take care of it. So we said, let's do that. In office spaces, we've generally been early adopters. In residential, it has been slow because the costs spent on it is quite significant. But at the same time, you may not always get the premium. There's a lot of awareness that needs to be created amongst residential buyers. Ultimately, the life cycle cost for the person, whether it's owning a home, the maintenance cost, everything does reduce a little bit when you bring in these features. The idea is to educate the clients. A lot of people are not willing to pay that extra premium. But I guess it is part of the learning, part of the curve that is in terms of adoption. So with this, I think it is a matter of, it's just a matter of time when everybody adopts it. We're just trying to piece the things together.
Okay, thank you. So the next important question, I think every developer would be probably wanting to listen is majorly on the sales front, because that's going to be the cash cow for any developer. So I think we have got Sujith here, who has been into multiple sales strategies with multiple developers. So over to you, Sujith. I just want to understand how the residential real estate has transformed from a walk-in to the digital first. So what's changing in buyers' behavior today?
See, it's all about the digital discovery now and offline purchases. And see, how it's happening nowadays is the customer is hyper-informed. Before even he visits the site, he knows about the project, he knows about the price, he knows about the reviews of a particular project, he knows about in and out of a project, and then he comes to a particular property, meets a sales guy for a reassurance. What I've actually selected, or probably what I'm looking at it, is it the right thing? He just needs a little bit of nudge. That's what is actually required from a sales perspective. So one major change had been from a customer's behavior over a period of time is about the dependence on digital factors, the tech part of it. Not just that, again, that's one major factor, but that's not alone. Today's customer needs a lot more things beyond just an apartment. He wants amenities, which has got social amenities. He's actually got fitness amenities required in that. So many things are required in that. So let's say, for example, I'll tell you, AV rooms we thought might not be used to a very large extent in many of the projects. So there was a lot of discussions. Should we continue building AV rooms or should we discontinue? So when we did a dipstick study into a couple of communities where the AV rooms were actually provided, surprisingly, the bookings are actually there up to 4 months to 6 months in advance. So to get an AV room also, it's actually difficult. That means people are valuing all these amenities which is provided, and there's a reason why they're actually buying into all such properties. So these are few things which is adding up to a customer's behavioral shift from past.
Okay. So you mean to say everybody's now started wanting more amenities and looking at large township kind of a projects?
Those are basic expectations now. Amenities are basic expectations. And what is actually going to be extra? So he's looking at a sustainable living. What is going to be is the developer going to be doing anything for, in terms of rainwater harvesting or solar panels or solar electricity for beyond the common areas? There are multiple things what a new guy is actually looking at. And this is actually not specifically for a first-time home buyer. It is even applicable for a person who's looking at the second or a third home as well. And again, the tech part of it is different again from city to city. And as I mentioned earlier, investors to an end user. Investor is actually not that concerned. He's more keen about the location and the overall price aspect of it. This is what an end user's perspective would be, to look at much more things than the investor's perspective.
Okay, thank
If
you.
I can butt in on this, see, what is the major reason from physical to DG first? See, today there is a complete mental shift of the entire population. If years ago we wouldn't be thinking about Swiggy and Zomato. Today, in our times we used to go on Sundays with our dad with jholas and used to do weekly shopping. Today, even the kirana shops are having next door. Even within the building in the communities, we have those shops. They are having challenges because we don't have the patience. Blinkit is there, Zomato is there. 6-7 minutes we are getting it. Correct? Our most of the time is spent on Instagrams and the Facebooks. The generation which is buying, or the age group which is buying itself have shifted. I have been on this dais where we had a couple of years talking about whether the real estate purchases will take effect, because now we have the WeWorks, co-live and all those people who want to be more independent, they want to move around, they wouldn't be buying real estate. The last 3-4 years have shown completely different than what was being discussed on the same dais, right? So there's a completely shift. So we are getting most of those people being online most of the time in one way or the other, or the Instagrams. Our first things comes to us about various projects coming, all those comes to us on online itself. Then we have become a little more educated, where we know we have, unlike earlier, we have access to information which was not possible. If we had to look for a house, the only way was go and see 10 houses. Now we know we can save that time as a generation. A, the patience level is less. B, we know that there is access to a lot of information through digital avenues to know about the project. The e-brochures are there. 80% of the data is there. Ticket sizes are available. Otherwise, we have to go to the shop to find out what price we can buy. So when the information is accessible, we have Google Maps, which we didn't have long time back. Now we can't do without Google Maps. So things have changed. World has changed. Efficiency has changed. So there is no reason why it will not change. Today, I think most of the times when we are discussing in our marketing meetings, we talk about putting a paper ad of 40 lakh rupees in Times of India is complete waste. The number of responses, and I think most of us will agree, the number of responses which come through that just doesn't justify, other than you just want to putting it once to show the world that you have launched the project. Most of the things do come through digital, because that is the most efficient way of attracting the new generation who are your actual buyers. And that again, as Sujith said, it again will differ from city to city. Maybe in tier 2 or tier 3 cities, some of those places, that may still not matter. But highly technological cities here, that is what matters. So, and it's very cost efficient, most important, even for the developers. So it's a complete shift on a mental level.
Thank you.
Adding on to that, there's one more thing. See, earlier, let's say 15 years back, if at all you were thinking about buying a home, one of the worries was like, how are you going to get the loan? I have to go to a bank, sit in the bank, talk to a manager. Then it was actually a bit difficult like that earlier. Now there are a lot of fintech companies which is offering you multiple options. You just click on it, they'll give you 10 different options with the loans and EMIs, including the interest calculator. So it's actually become a lot more easier to actually go for a home purchase nowadays.
Yeah, so tech is going to be the next big thing, and we have already started seeing that. Moving to the next question, everybody talks about pricing, why pricing is going high, but nobody thinks about two factors. One is the land component and the construction cost. My next question is to Zayd. So, you're constructing multiple gated community projects across various cities, and the land and the construction cost, which is going on a higher level. How the developer balance premium aspirations with affordability, how that is going to happen, and are we likely to see more compact or the mixed use developments?
It's quite a elaborate question, so I'll just break it up for everybody to understand clearly. Firstly, in terms of the land, yes, the market heated up, prices have gone up, so obviously expectations from the land side would increase, right? The land prices, landowners would increase their expectations on pricing. But what we tell them is, listen, for me to have a successful project, I need to sell the project, right? I cannot pay you a premium and then at the end of the day pass that premium on to the customer, because the project has to make financial sense to me. I need to build in some buffer in case things go wrong somewhere in the middle. What if steel and cement prices shoot up? I can't go back to the customer and say, listen buddy, your premium specifications are costing more, can you please pay me more? Nobody's going to pay. So we buffer in a certain underwriting for the project. If it doesn't meet that expectation, then that's not a deal to be made. So that's where we balance it out with the landowners and try to explain to them. For example, in Hyderabad, landowners think, they have this land, there's no ceiling on FSI, there's height available, builder will come and he'll build as much as possible, let me ask for the moon. But the reality is, it builds in a lot of inefficiency because you have something called as building code. You need to build car park, this, that, so your common areas, your excess just goes up. The efficiency it's not very efficient. So there are many factors like this. So we need to balance out that kind of need with what's required, and then come up with some sensible pricing and economics to guide the project. Then of course there's a certain affordability, right? And that doesn't really change year on year. Your salary will only go up 7-8% every year probably. Maybe if you've done exceptionally well, you got a 12% hike and maybe a bonus. So we need to keep in mind that we have to play backwards from a certain ticket price. That's how when we approach a project, we look at, or a certain location to do a deal, we look at what could my end product sell at, right? In a more conservative, reasonable fashion, and then build in kind of the buffer and work out, the area share or percentage that we give the landowner, or even what price we could buy the land at. So that's how we balance it out. But at the same time, we don't dilute the product. So in case the land is too expensive or whatever, and there's no other choice, then probably we'll have to rationalize on the size of the unit to make sure that it still doesn't exceed that final end price that is expected. So that's how we balance things out. We don't really compromise anything on quality because, as the rest of the panel said, the customer is becoming more and more aware. He's shopping around. He's like, if he's giving me X, why can't you give me, why are you giving me Y and charging me at a premium? And nobody's going to pay you for your good looks, right? They're only going to pay you for delivering on time, maybe, right? That's the premium they're paying you. And that's what you can charge, because maybe you will give it at a slightly higher cost to a better contractor, which somebody may not give, to build faster for you. So these are all the different factors. And I think if you give these amenities and open spaces and design it well, this is like the basic requirement everybody wants now. You cannot shortchange a customer on that, and you shouldn't as well. So I think this is basically how we balance things out.
Great. So one way people understand how difficult it is from the developer point of view before asking for the pricing discount. Moving on to the very important segment, I would say, and we are also having last 11 minutes, investment outlook and future trends. And over to you, Farook sir. How you see the international investors viewing South India now, and what policy or perception shift could you further attract them?
Let me just explain to you the acronym that you see on your board, the FIABCI. It's FIABCI. That stands for Federation Immobiliers, and translated into English, it's International Real Estate Federation. It has 5 verticals: legal, broking, developers, investors. I've had the good fortune of being the world president of this organization a couple of years ago, and we have about 1.2 million members in about 70 countries, and the organization is 78 years old. And I'm the only Indian and the second Asian to have been given this, rather won this prestigious election. It's not because of who I am, but because of my country, and they see value in India as the future. You take Europe, it's on a decline from a perspective of investment. The only US, except for New York and certain 2 or 3 other markets, everything else is kind of stagnant out there. You take Asia, Singapore's doing well, Malaysia is okay, Taiwan. Dubai is another good market, but everybody sees it with a suspicious eye. We've been running around selling properties there too, but I always see it more as a kind of an investor-driven market than an actual need-based. So it leaves very little to imagination that India is the place which is not volatile. We've got a fairly stable government, good industry here, good business practices here, and quite affordable. So if you see so many of the funds and billions of dollars that have rolled into this country, it's not because they like the tandoori chicken and the climate of India and the masala vada, but it's the value for money and the investments that they're making, whether it's the stock markets that they made money earlier or in real estate. Lots of money is flowing into India. This year, I think there's been a slight restriction on certain funds. But otherwise, they see value in Indian real estate investment. There are constraints on where and where they can invest in. So I think plenty of money is coming in from overseas. Apart from the funds, you've got the non-resident Indians who are pumping into money here into various markets. Middle East is one, then the US is another, certain European countries, then Southeast Asia. Many of the funds are looking at India, and a lot of them have invested in REITs and other things out here in the Indian markets. So these people are coming here because we see fantastic returns in the long run. And they're here to stay. They're here to stay. I mean, this is going to differentiate between the boys from the men. So these funds are putting in money here, and they're going to be long-term players out here. So I would say that the next 5 to 10 years is India's. And I think we're number 5 right now on the from a perspective of the economy, global economies. I think we should get closer to it as time goes by. And this is the market that they see real value in. They see that there's so much more potential for affordable housing, or even for that matter, high-end homes. If you look at a couple of years back, one couldn't think of selling an apartment at 60 or 80 crores, but it's being selling right now at these values in Bangalore. So these were numbers that you could only think of Bombay. But the whole of India is happening. And from my perspective, a lot more is to happen on the high end and the middle income group. So there's so much more potential for growth out here. And even the logistics, a lot of companies have been investing money out here. Retail, of course, we've not even barely touched the surface of the markets. So there is tremendous potential out here from that.
Thank you, sir. And very positive. Next 5-10 years, a lot of positive things are going to happen in. Just adding to that, probably Navin can just throw his inputs or insights on what he feels is going to be the hotspot within or beyond Bangalore.
So before that, I'm just trying to cover a little more on the funding side. I have a little different view. I've been an investor all my life. So I've seen the 2004, 2005 to 2008, the equity run or the race which was there in India. And then we had the NBFC thing running between 2013 to 2020. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've been part of both of them. So there are a lot of positives and negatives. So see, we still don't see, because the RERA has been a serious value add, but because the kind of regulations and the laws which are there, we still don't see a lot of international funds entering into India actually. If you even see now, we hardly have any equity funds investing in India, which was in abundance in 2005-8 when Press Note 2 came into. That is something which really needs reforms. They really need to understand that the better laws where they can exit, they have exit facilities, and that is where the large international funds will start entering into it. If we still look into it, we have a residential yield of about 2 to 3% in most of the places, whereas we have a home loan interest rate of about 8 to 9%. So on the residential side, if we leave aside the capital appreciation side, which is on and off, we do not have actually good yields. And if you look, most of the developed countries where the your home loans will be anywhere between 3 to 5%. So most of the transactions and funds which we are still seeing is on the commercial side. The REITs have been very successful. We have Embassy and then Satwa doing probably one of the largest REITs in Asia. So on that side, I think there is some need. We need to see if really, we are about 140 billion people and growing. The economy is growing. The population doesn't seem to be coming down in any way or form. So the roti kapda makan will stay. The makan is going to require, and I think there are some large funds who are looking to do platform level deals with likes of Prestige, Brigade, some of the bigger guys. But if the real country has to grow, then we need investments, equity investments for at a much deep rooted level. We have a lot of NRIs definitely putting in. I think the H1B visa, I think what was raised is a very important point. I have few people living in my building. All of them are very clear that they want to have now a house in India because they never know where their H1B visa will get expired and they have to come back. So a lot of those monies are really coming in and it's really helping, especially the South India. But we need to see better laws and rules where we can see a real good amount of funding coming in, both debt and equity. Right now we are living completely on, we don't have large international funds. It's all domestic. And now with all the restrictions now on NBFCs, they cannot fund for the land. So ultimately real estate where the developers really need money is at the land level, which is not available. So I think there we need to have reforms. Coming back to your other question on where we see, I think one portion, as Adarsh has been talking about, our population, we are the youngest population, but it's not going to remain young always, right? There is some statistics which says we'll have 194 million senior citizens by 2030. So with that kind of a thing happening, as he said, the wife or the lady is not managing the house anymore. So the next generation, unlike what were our parents, we becoming senior citizens, we want much better lifestyle and the quality. So that is, senior citizen is going to definitely play a very important role. And I think the word senior citizen itself is self-changing, as we were talking before that. Some call it active home, some call it assisted living. So the whole lifestyle there will be changed. It will not be some house outside the city. It's probably going to be more inside the community, maybe just a different building. Earlier, what used to happen now, parents are saying, okay, we need to be one floor up, one floor down. Now they may be one building away with their own facilities and like that. So that is going to play a very important role. Co-live is going to exist and going to grow at a very different level. Because again, urbanization is a reality, a lot of people coming in. Rental are becoming very, very difficult in cities like Bangalore. So the only best option is, and I think there is huge scope of creating quality co-living places where those youngsters can come in and find a good place to live, where the workplace is close by. With the infrastructure issues, it's not possible for them to travel. You know, to buy a good quality, affordable home, probably they have to do 30 kilometers away, which may be about 1.5 hours one side. So co-live is going to be a very, very important role. What another trend I see is the aspirational level of peoples are very, very different than what it used to be. So today, what Brigade has been or Prestige has been doing, the community living is becoming more and more critical. We'll find challenges in home standalone homes and all, because people, the next generation are aspirational. They want the community, they want the culture. They're living away. South Indian may be living in Delhi, or North Indian may be living in Chennai. They want all the festivals to be happening. They want to celebrate everything. They want the communities to be there. They want the swimming pool out there. They preferably want the school close by, maybe in the same place. So community living is going to come. There are a lot of sustainable things. I think FHD is doing some concepts like oregano, which is a mix of you are farmer but you are living in the city. So there are a lot of concepts and a lot of innovators which are coming in, and we'll see a lot of changes on that side.
Thanks, Navin.
I just want to add a few things.
Yeah.
These foreign funds are the sharpest of the minds. If you see, they're not investing on greenfield projects. They're letting us do all the hard work. They come in and then they buy the core asset. So they just don't want to get into the hassle of or any uncertainty. They want to get in when it's built. They want that stable annuity income. They come in, they pick it up. We're seeing that happen. I also want to mention that the interest rates are at the lowest in India right now. But for them, I think the issue is it's about the exchange rate that happens. And some of these funds have a 5-year, 7-year time schedule where they have to again return that money and book some profit. A lot of times the exchange rate doesn't go in favor. So I think that's where they like to invest in core assets, which is ready and stable in terms of annuity income. And they don't like long drawn projects, and projects do take time whether we like it or not.
Thanks, Amar. And I'm just coming to the last question. I think the time is also more or less up. But how I think this can be probably been thrown open to the entire panelists, and each one can just give their views and inputs. What do you see the market is going to be in 2030? Integrated township, luxury living, senior living, or tech-led homes? I'm sure Adarsh should be starting with this senior living.
Let me, obviously I have a bias, there's no doubt about that. But let me tell you where I think housing itself is moving towards. If you see offices over the last decade, they have moved from being a physical space to a place of hospitality, right? Today's offices have a massive component of hospitality. I think homes without services won't exist in maybe a decade's time. So companies like us, other companies, many will come in where there's going to be a home that's also backed with a great layer of service, and those are going to see much better lifetime values than a home with no service. That's my prediction of a larger trend.
True. I think that's going to happen in future, like already started.
Again, senior citizen assisted living or even senior citizen apartment home living, none of these are actually going to be separate. We had actually talked about, when you mentioned integrated townships, tech-assisted. So it has to be everything. We are talking about probably tech-assisted integrated townships or tech-assisted senior citizens living. All these are actually going to be the future of it. And it's not just integrated townships. Again, when you talk about integrated townships, it actually talks about certain amenities as the basic expectation. So right now, any property we are talking about in terms of a convenience, affordability, these are actually the things what's going to be coming up towards 2030.
Great. Anybody else?
I think I concur with what he's saying. Senior living is going to be there. Maybe I'll add a little layer, which he's already doing, which is multi-generational homes. So where the parent lives and then the child, the senior lives and then the child also lives nearby. So I think it works very well, these trends. And a lot of millennials will, Gen Z and the millennials will start buying more and more homes. So I think they'll place a lot of importance on community living. So they will look at amenities and just the schools nearby, hospitals for their parents, all that. I think all that ecosystem is what they will count on. Not as much on standalone apartments, although they're in the best of the locations. Maybe they would like a community. I think that's what will drive, like villas and all that.
Okay, thank you.
I think I agree with this. I think community living is the way forward, and it's going to be, a lot more of housing for the old or assisted housing. We're going to see a lot more of that happening here. But one must realize that artificial intelligence is going to play a very, very important role in all of this. And designing of interiors, designing of the project itself will evolve. I mean, if you look at the Gen Z and the earlier thing that we were talking about, the millennials, we're not talking about buying homes. They were talking about rentals. There's been a shift totally, and everybody now realizes, and I'd like to conclude this by saying, real estate is the safest investment in the world. And you see the performances of stock markets, gold, or the other instruments that have been there. And I think the growth that has been there in real estate globally is number one, comparatively in every other way. You look at it over a period of 25, 30 years. So the safest investment is real estate, and it's going to be that way. Thank you.
I think I can only hope for things in the next 5 years. I can hope that a lot more people can afford to buy homes. It's not a luxury anymore. Okay, that the economy grows enough to support that. And then I think I can hope that people will be a lot more confident in real estate. I think that confidence is there right now, but I think there'll be a lot more confidence in the next 5 years, given that there's some exceptional work being done, and hopefully all these developers live up to their promises and deliver on time.
Just to conclude, I don't know, 2030 probably it's too close, but let us all, I think all of us understand that our next generation are not going to see lot of maids, cooks, and everything else. That's gone, because it's not going to happen, because if you talk to them, their children are studying. We are doing well as an economy. We should be happy about it. They are going to be the next level of engineers, doctors, and they have the fire. So it will be very, very difficult for you to get your maids and house drivers, servants, etc. So where the community, it is going to be completely technological driven. The patience levels are going to be even be lower. So I think it is going to be completely technological or technology driven communities, where on a pad sitting there, you book your massage, you book your maid, you book your cook, you book your everything, you get your food, everything is going to be, and those are the communities which will be running through. And we'll see a lot of integrity between community and technology in future. I think that is where the future is going to take you. The houses are going to be more compact. You'll probably not have a laundry room. They are going to get integrated. You'll probably have smaller kitchens, because the entire assisted living is not going to remain only with the senior citizens, going to come across the entire community. People hardly cook now at home. So those are going to play a very important role, both in terms of designing of homes and as well as how those homes or communities are going to get serviced.
So I think we had a fantastic discussion on how the future is going to be, and how South as a market in terms of the residential real estate is going to be. I think a lot of new concepts came in, a lot of new verticals came in, co-living, senior living, gated communities, a lot of inputs and ideas from the construction point of view. So I think market is emerging, a lot of new knowledge is being shared across tech platforms. I think I would say the market is going to be very, very good in a couple of years to come, and the best time to buy. I think we are all here for that, and I think next few more years, I think people should start investing more on real estate. As Farook sir rightly said, that's the best bet in the industry right now, is compared to your gold or your mutual or whatever it is, your real estate is going to be the best thing. So on an overall level, thanks a lot panelists for throwing your insights and inputs. Thanks Reality Plus once again for this opportunity, and very, very happy that we are just closing off this session now. Thank you. Yes, sir.
As I was walking in, somebody asked me, when is a good time to buy? The market's going for. I said, today is cheaper than tomorrow. So invest today.
Thank you so much. Can I have a big round of applause for all of them, please, everybody? We have bandwidth for 2 questions from the audience, since it's a very important panel. If anybody is willing to ask questions, please kindly raise hands. Yeah. I'll pass you the mic. You coordinate with sir.
Hi, it was a great discussion. I mean, it's a privilege to have this kind of a panel. One question which I had was, what will be the impact on this industry, our industry, from the shift of the mindset of the consumers from a few decades back, where it was single income and double child, to now a double income and single child, and probably in the next decade or so, the DINK, double income and no child. So what can be the impact?
See, I think child or no child, the concept of community will remain, right? So in terms of my product, the expectation is still going to be there to provide those amenities, those common spaces. Maybe, affordability could change, right? So they could afford a larger home, okay? And they would want those spaces. So maybe we may have to curate those spaces slightly differently. So instead of doing what we call a 3-bedroom, we would call 2.5, whatever you like. So it'll be used for different purposes. So I think that's where you see things happen. I wouldn't see a negative kind of impact on the way projects are designed. I think people will still need whatever we're providing them now, and they'll need better.
Oh, it's a really good panel discussion we had. Thank you so much. The few questions I have lined up is, first thing is, where are we seeing the threshold on the housing prices in Bangalore? Are we actually targeting central Bangalore, and now that the government has planned north, south, east, west? Or are we targeting the new airport that is being planned for the 2 satellite or 3 satellite growth of Bangalore? So regarding that, that's the first question. And the second thing is, how is sustainability playing a major role in housing development? Though I know a couple of panels had spoken about it, so it will be great if you could add on it on the sustainability aspects, because we all have been rained out. There is no groundwater in Bangalore. Rains are getting fewer, and there is a lot of challenges. I hope the whole panel is aware about it. So where are we looking that as the next phase of sustainability, and how do we see our Gen Z and Alpha going through that phase? Not at least us, but the future. Thank you.
I don't think there's going to be any threshold on the prices as long as there is greed for the landowner. So that prices will actually always be, dictating terms in terms of cost of an apartment. So that's where it starts. So it starts from there. So in terms of when you actually spoke about, multiple satellite townships getting made, there's a lot of development and a lot of demand getting risen in all those places. Let's say there are multiple satellite townships. We are not talking about the Devanhalli alone. There is Bidadi, there are multiple places.
There are 8 satellite towns defined in Bangalore, and it's growing up. And we are afraid that we are joining ahead with the Tamil Nadu, the other states. So that also there's a government challenges coming up. So
yeah,
yes.
There is Malur, there are multiple. So right now people are actually moving there because people consider that as actually the future. There's a lot of development happening there. Right now, for a capital appreciation perspective, those who can't afford to probably invest the money for a capital appreciation in CBD, these are the areas that people are actually looking at currently. And yes, there is a lot of price appreciation happening. The demand is also super good in all those townships right now. And probably just to add on, Sarjapur was actually once a satellite town. Now it's not.
I'd like to just add one more thing here. You see, prices are always going to keep escalating because of many factors. And the biggest thing that one has to bear in mind is the factor that today you're in Whitefield. You move 10 kilometers from Whitefield. The land is cheaper there. But without the metro line or logistics, it doesn't make sense. So as long as the public infrastructure grows along, so that's how you can keep the cost of construction is going to be the same or more or less the same wherever you do it, maybe a couple of % this way, that way. But the major cost is land acquisition. So to peg the land prices low is the key. And this is where, money is to be made. And I think this is where inflation plays a major role. If you compare the rupee to the dollar or vice versa, from that perspective, globally, the dollar has been depreciating, but in India, it's been appreciating. So we have unique points that part of the globe doesn't have. So the only way is, if you have to buy cheap, you have to buy a little further away. Otherwise, the same thing is going to cost you 20%, 30% more. And somebody who's got a 2-bedroom wants to upgrade into a 3-bedroom. He or she sells the 2-bedroom and then moves into another location at the same cost to buy a 3-bedroom. So the cost is, the land cost is $1 million question.
Ma'am, if you want to buy a cheap home, you got to talk to the government, because 52% of the cost of your house is taxes, direct and indirect. That's where the saving is.
Also just to ask, where are the new airports planned? You spoke about the 2 or 3 new airports planned, considering this. Where? 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 Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you be louder? Yeah, please.
There is a second airport planned, and there is a research proposal that's been floated. That's the proposal for 3 locations near Nelamangala, and still the government, the airport authority has given a confirmation. So as a university, we are working on it also on the DPR. So this is, if you're not aware, we can sit across and
Yeah.
share the proposal.
Yeah,
so that if you're looking for some investment, definitely we could take you as a partner. Thank you.
Fairfax, there's a 165 kilometer restriction of distance. So they itself, and yeah, it's far away. We have a lot of restrictions on that. I think we are going let us be very honest. The cost of construction is going out. The population of the city is growing at a very fast pace. We are not a socialist, we are a capitalist country. We cannot control the landowners on the prices going up. We cannot stop the government on the GSTs. They keep putting on basic raw materials like iron and cement. So till we have, this is one of the places, you know, real estate is one of the very few industries where you don't even get input credit on your GST. Yeah, I'm explaining you. So we are that in a lot of other businesses, when we are spending, we are getting input credit for what we are again spending. So, but in real estate, we don't even get input credit on our GSTs. So, with all those issues, as Adarsh also point out, that our biggest partner is government. Till they don't help us, the prices is very difficult to bring it down.
Thank you. We would be very happy to line up a fireside chat the next time between you both, right? We would love that. But then as of now, in the best interest of time, I have to kind of conclude this session. Thank you so much to all of you. A big round of applause for all of them, please, everybody. बहुत shukriya for joining us over here. And I'll request Mr. Amit Beth, founder and creative director, ABC Brand Advisory, to please kindly come up on stage and give the token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers over here. Mr. Beth, ke liye zor se tali, please, everybody, once again. Thank you so much. He's been a part of a panel earlier as well. I'll request all our speakers to please kindly come up over here and stand. Do that fireside chat. Give the token of appreciation to our speakers.